They met again the following year, this time at Reykjavik, Iceland. There, President Reagan's hopes for a nuclear-free world soared briefly and then fell during one of the longest, most disappointing, and ultimately angriest days of his presidency. The meeting spot in Iceland was a waterfront home overlooking the Atlantic. The two leaders first met alone briefly with their interpreters. Then Gorbachev said he wanted to bring in George Shultz and the Soviet Foreign Minister Edvard Shevardnadze. For a day and a half, they made progress on arms reduction that even now remains unprecedented. On the first day, Gorbachev accepted in principle a proposal Reagan had made in 1981 for the elimination of all nuclear missiles in Europe, and another proposal calling for eliminating all ballistic missiles over 10 years. Reagan proposed that in the first phase of their agreement to eliminate nuclear weapons, each of the countries would scrap 50% of their missiles, while continuing research on a missile defense system. If and when the Strategic Defense Initiative reached a test status, the U.S. would permit Soviet observers at the tests. If the tests demonstrated that the system was effective, and once each country had scrapped 50% of their missiles, each would destroy the balance of their missiles, and both countries would share all SDI technology. As the evening approached, the President thought to himself, "Look what we've accomplished. We have negotiated the most massive weapons reductions in history." He felt they were in complete agreement and were on the verge of achieving something of remarkable proportions. Then Gorbachev threw him a curve. With a smile on his face, Gorbachev said, "This all depends, of course, on you giving up SDI." Reagan was spellbound, and he uncharacteristically blew his top.
While both sides seek reduction in the number of nuclear missiles and warheads threatening the world, the Soviet Union insisted that we sign an agreement that would deny to me and to future presidents for 10 years the right to develop, test, and deploy a defense against nuclear missiles for the people of the free world. This we could not and will not do.
It would be more than a year after he walked out on Gorbachev at Reykjavik that the efforts to reduce the danger of nuclear war could resume.
We have what to say to the American leaders, to the President of the United States, and we are hoping that we will hear some new words on their side. I would like to wish peace and well-being to all Americans.
The Gorbachevs pulled up to the White House on the morning of December 8, 1987, in a Russian-made limousine.
Today marks a visit that is perhaps more momentous than many which have preceded it, because it represents a coming together not of allies, but of adversaries. And yet I think you will find during your stay that the American people believe that a stranger is a friend they have yet to meet, and that there's still a wellspring of goodwill here.
Following the customary welcoming ceremonies, the two leaders and their interpreters went to the Oval Office. Soon after, they signed the INF Treaty. The President was proud to be part of a genuinely historic moment, a goal since 1981, and he was very happy.
The treaty, whose text is on this table, offers a big chance at last to get onto the road leading away from the threat of catastrophe. It is our duty to take full advantage of that chance and move together toward a nuclear-free world.
We can only hope that this history-making agreement will not be an end in itself, but the beginning of a working relationship that will enable us to tackle the other issues, urgent issues before us. We have listened to the wisdom in an old Russian maxim, and I'm sure you're familiar with it. Mr. General Secretary, though my pronunciation may give you difficulty, the maxim is doверяй, no проверяй, trust but verify.
На каждой встрече вы это повторяете.
You repeat that at every meeting.